This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by WBC light heavyweight champion David Benavidez here in Saudi Arabia. David, it's good to see you. I know you've done a lot of media this week, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But how are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. It's still it's enjoyable talking to you guys. I know this is a part of the job, the media. And at first, I just want to thank you guys because you guys are the ones getting our story out of there, out to the world. So I really appreciate you guys as well.
I appreciate that, David, because at the stage that you are in your career, it'd be very easy for someone just to think, I've done my talking, I'm done now. So I appreciate you giving up some time. But yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on to start with is obviously it's become a bit of a staple of yourself when you go into open workouts, you and your son training together. What does that mean for you in terms of that connection you're building with him and showing him what you do kind of in person?
It makes me really happy because my son, I feel like I'm giving him the confidence he needs to go out there. If I was his age, going up in front of a stage like that, doing mitts, I would have peed in my pants, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have been able to do it. But my son, he wants to go out there. He wants to do the mitts. He wants to do all this and that. So it makes me happy that he has that confidence. You know what I mean? Sometimes there could be a great fighter, but if he doesn't have the confidence in himself to show the world who he is, it kind of brings him down as a fighter. So my son, he doesn't have to deal with that problem. So, I'm very happy we're able to do this together, father and son.
I know he's very young, but if a time arrives and he actually wants to take it more seriously, is it something you'd want to see, or would you think as his father you'd be a bit more, you'd never want to see your son basically get hurt?
No, I think I've stated a lot of times that I want my bloodline to be world champions. You know what I mean? I'm going to put them in the same class or the same type of training my dad put me. Because at the end of the day, what my dad did for me, he gave me a gift. Even though we didn't necessarily get along when I was little with him because I felt like he hated me just from the hard work. But once I got to a certain age, I understood he's giving me a gift of hard work. He's giving me a gift of dedication. He's giving me a gift to make my mind strong. And in that way, nobody can mess with me in or outside the ring. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put my son through the same type of training. And I'm going to make him, I call him the little monster now, but he's going to take over the name, the Mexican monster, when he gets older.
Talking about that relationship as well with your father, because we're seeing it a bit more of a common theme. Obviously, you're trained by your father. You've got Brian Norman trained by his father, Devin Haney by his father. Starting to see, certainly at the elite level now, a lot of fighters taking that family route. Why do you think it is that there's so much success coming through in that aspect, and why are you and your father having so much success together?
I think it's better to have a father-trainer-son relationship because you're fighting for two people. Back then when I was younger, I didn't only fight for myself. I didn't really care about it. I was an amateur, nothing. I didn't care about nothing else when I'd go on the sparring sessions. I'd only care about making my dad happy or angry. And even if I made him angry, he'd take me back home and freaking spank me for doing bad. So in that case, you always got to have something to fight for. You know what I mean? Now I fight for my family, fight for my wife, I fight for my children, my father and my mother and my brothers and sisters. So it's easy to let yourself down if you're fighting for more people. You know what I mean? It gives you that extra energy to not let yourself down and not let your people down.
David, Anthony Yarde on Saturday night. One thing that we've seen from yourself, if you can't get the Benavidez, the Bivols, the Canelos, you want the next best in line, and we've seen that as a common theme, especially over the last few years. How do you rate Anthony Yarde? How much of him have you studied? What does he bring on Saturday night?
Anthony Yarde is a good fighter. He's a strong fighter. He has a lot of heart. He has a lot of experience too. Don't put that in your mouth. He has a lot of experience, so these types of fighters that have experience, that have been stopped before by top fighters, they come in with a different type of motivation. I'm okay, Mama. So, thank you. My daughter, she knows I'm hungry, so she's trying to give me something to eat. So, no, but these fighters, they come in with a different type of motivations. But, I've watched a lot of film of him. I know exactly what he does good. I know what he does bad. I'll put together my own game plan. So, he's a dangerous fighter. He's top, he's number 5, something like that. So he's a top fighter for a reason. But I feel like I'm on a different level. I'm coming into my prime now, and, I'm just excited to show the world what I'm made of this Saturday.
With him in the past, we've seen him fall short against Sergey Kovalev when people thought the timing was right for him to catch him. When he fought Benavidez, people thought maybe this is the time when Benavidez is slowing down. But with yourself, you're coming into your prime years now, and we've seen the acceleration, the pace that you fight at and how aggressive you are. When you do step between ropes, how much of a surprise do you feel that might be for him to witness that and feel that at world level?
I think every time I step into a ring with somebody, it's a surprise because I'm much better than they anticipated me to be. My defense is on a different level. You know, my head movement is on a different level. My speed, my accuracy, my IQ. I think he's definitely going to be surprised this weekend, especially the speed. The speed is going to throw him off a lot. But even if he doesn't get surprised and if he's 100% prepared, it's my job to make sure I implement my game plan to break him down little by little. I've done this before with top fighters. I've done this since I was in the ring sparring world champions at 14 years old. You know what I mean? So this is something I know how to do very well. So if he comes 100% ready, we're going to break him down little by little.
We've seen you at light heavy, get those rounds with Vosdick, get those rounds with David Morrell, but do you feel like Saturday is not the coming out party, but the statement performance at light heavyweight against Anthony Yarde, the one where we see a stoppage victory from the Mexican monster?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a statement. You know what I mean? I'm going in there and I'm very excited. The thing different about this fight than any other fight is that I'm already on weight. You know what I mean? I feel really good. You know, instead of draining myself to make the weight these last 2 days, I get to actually give my body a rest, get to relax, and I think this is going to make the difference. And I'm definitely going to go in there and make a statement this Saturday.
Success here. Have you had any assurances that, whether it be from Turkey or from your team, whoever it may be, that a fight with a Bivol or a Canelo is next? Have you had any conversations?
There's been no assurance for the past 3 years. You know, especially I was number one trying to fight Canelo. I was number one my last fight to fight Bivol. So there's no assurances. You know, I take every fight, every performance one fight at a time. You know what I mean? So my mind is 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next comes next.
Do you think they're avoiding you?
I think what better be in Bivol, the timing is just wrong for them. You know, Bivol just had a back surgery. Then Benavidez wants to get the rematch with him. So, I mean, I can understand that. I wouldn't say they're scared of me, but I would say Canelo's scared of me 100%.
Just a couple to round off on Callum Smith and David Morrell. What's your thoughts on that fight? WBO ordering it, they couldn't come to terms. But if we do see it, you've shared the ring with David Morrell. You was initially touted to fight Callum Smith on this date before Anthony stepped in. How do you see a bout between them two playing out?
I see a good bout between them. You know, it's a good fight between both of them. I don't know who the winner is, but I'll tell you this: if Callum Smith wins, we could do a fight with him, and if David Morrell loses, maybe in the future we could do a rematch with him. You know, I just want to give the best fights to the fans.
Just last one from me. I know you just Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua came out of the blue. Just your take on seeing that bout now come at the end of December.
Yeah, it's a surprise. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's crazy that you go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but big respects to Jake Paul. I feel like he just wants to make a big statement, and he wants to show the boxing world that he is a real boxer and that he's prepared for anything. So you can't hate on that. All I could do is respect that. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be a great event. They're going to do great numbers, and I'm looking forward to seeing that fight.
Just to ask, a lot of people in boxing are expecting quite a demolition job from Anthony Joshua. Are you kind of reading along the same lines?
I think it's. I don't want to say that, you know, because I know I've seen Jake Paul. You know, he's a great guy. You know, we'll let them do what they got to do.
David, I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your week here. Good luck on Saturday night, and thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.